he's going to get on the field in preseason games without a lot of practice reps. And then they're going to ask him to perform these heroic tasks in order to prove that he's worthy of being a starter when he hasn't had enough reps to really get comfortable. That's the kind of battle he's dealing with right now. I know. I've seen it. Dom, you've seen it. We've been in these camps. We know how that goes. Yeah. You don't get enough reps. They play a whole half of a game, and then all of a sudden coaches are going, why are you making that mistake? Why aren't you making that check? Why are you doing that technique? Well, damn, coach, I never was in there in practice. You never even talked to me during practice. But now you expect me to know. That's what they're going to that's what they're going to expect of him. But if anyone can get it done, it's this kid because he's been trained the right way. But I'm telling you.
Hear that rumble? That wasn't thunder. It was Rich Eisen dropping a truth bomb big enough to rattle every armchair quarterback and Wi-Fi warrior in the country. Shedeur Sanders finally got his shot, and now the critics are twisting themselves into pretzels trying to explain it away. But Rich? Rich stepped up with a highlight reel level clapback, swinging like it was the championship round. If you thought Shedeur's rise was entertaining, Eisen's verbal blitz just turned it into primetime comedy. Buckle up, this roast was loud, live, and lethal.
He's already speaking in Cleveland high schools.
Weekend after, flying out, immediately to get to work.
But his character's terrible, right? You know, and listen, oh, he interviewed bad, you know. According to who? The New York Giants? No offense, Bert. The same New York Giants that gave Daniel Jones a huge contract and let Saquon Barkley out the door. That's the intel we're trusting here?
That was for him to celebrate. He just made, I mean, look, he put in work in college. He had the privilege of being coached by his father,
which we all would love.
Turned around not one but two programs in college football, and then literally for any athlete, being drafted at the highest level is a success story in itself, regardless if you grew up privileged.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. Hear that? That wasn't thunder. It was Rich Eisen slamming the haters reset button so hard, the NFL servers probably needed a full system restore. Moments ago, Twitter trolls were happily firing off the same tired takes about Shedeur Sanders being nothing more than Dion's kid playing pretend in a football uniform. Then Eisen dropped in, and those narratives evaporated faster than a timeout in the final 2 minutes.
They say Kenny Pickett had strained his hamstring. Shedeur, they say his first day in pass, 9 for 9, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Really was just hating on this young guy and not trying to give him an opportunity.
The very next minute, Eisen shows up like a fully caffeinated professor at Hater University, chalk in one hand, cold, hard facts in the other, obliterating every lazy narrative with the precision of a surgeon and the grin of a man who knows he's right. No fluff, no freebies. Shedeur Sanders didn't stumble into this shot like it was a complimentary Costco sample. He went out and earned it, rep by rep, play by play. And when the moment arrived, he didn't just accept it, he locked onto it like a golden PlayStation 5 with only 2 in existence, ready to fend off the entire planet to keep it.
Because I've done it at 2 locations already, so it's simple. So that's why when people say I'm not, you know, one of the top quarterbacks or the top quarterback, is what are y'all going based off of? Because I did it year after year after year, and you see the progression. So it's like, obviously, it got to be some type of external hate that you have for the family, for the last name, for anything, because I know I proved myself on the field.
While the rest of the crowd was still arguing about whether he was NFL ready, Shedeur strolled onto that practice field like the job was already his, QB1, CEO of the offense, and unofficial mayor of the end zone. Remember the chatter? All flash, overhyped, writing daddy's name? Yeah, that's adorable in hindsight. Because what Shedeur's showing now isn't flash, it's focus. It's poise. It's precision. He's out here playing chess at tournament speed while the rest of the league is still trying to remember how to set up the checkerboard.
I'm a firm believer. If I wanted Shedeur Sanders at 2, at worst at 33, of course I already think that he's better than other quarterbacks. Because that's the type of talent, that's where I would have picked him at. And if he was at 2 or 33, and he still had the same exact skill set, we would be talking about him starting and playing.
Right. Well, there'd only be 3 quarterbacks.
It'd be 3 quarterbacks, not 4.
Yeah.
But since he moved to the 5th round, that's cool. They might have to go along with it. But to me, I think if you ask who got the best tools, I'm going with Shedeur Sanders.
From day one of camp, he wasn't there to survive. He came to take over. There was no deer in headlights energy. No fumbling the basics. Just cold precision, smooth footwork, and a laser-guided missile launcher disguised as a right arm. Meanwhile, Rich Eisen had apparently been waiting for this moment like it was Christmas morning, and boy did he unwrap those receipts with gusto. He wasn't subtle. He didn't sip tea. He went full-blown espresso shot of truth. Eisen reminded the world that this kid didn't crawl out of a PR stunt. Shedeur has been grinding for this moment, not just surviving hype, weaponizing it. Because let's face it, most rookies show up to the league wide-eyed and blinking, like they just realized the defensive line is made up of angry refrigerators. But Shedeur? Nah. He came pre-installed with media training, surgical football IQ, and Dion-level confidence with none of the over-the-top rhinestones. Okay, maybe just a little sparkle. The good kind. And you know who really hates that? The old guard. The same people who still think mobile quarterbacks are just running backs with delusions of grandeur. They didn't see this coming. They thought they could slap the nepotism label on Shedeur and walk away feeling clever. Too bad Eisen came in with the metaphorical flamethrower.
Yeah, teams didn't draft him because they didn't think he was first-round talent. And the quote we played and that's on the screen, I think is flatly wrong. We all know this shouldn't have happened. Yes, it should have. It should have happened because this wasn't. Now again, teams can be wrong. The league as a whole can be wrong. Hell, the Baltimore Ravens drafted a 25-year-old tight end before they drafted Lamar Jackson in the same draft. The die is not cast on who Shedeur Sanders will be.
He laid it out crystal clear. This ain't some celebrity kid doing a ride-along. This is a quarterback with pocket presence, leadership instincts, and the kind of decision-making you don't teach. You either have it, or you're auditioning for a backup gig. And Shedeur? He's not auditioning. He's installing his office furniture in the starter's lounge. When that opportunity finally knocked, whether from injury, trade, or the football gods having a sense of humor, Shedeur answered the door in full pads with a clipboard and a touchdown pass. The man didn't flinch. He didn't stutter. He executed. And as the rest of the league blinked in confusion, Rich Eisen started laughing like a man who'd been saying it all along. Now the camp reports are glowing like they're trying to qualify for the Pro Bowl themselves. Coaches are suddenly referring to him in those vague but flattering terms like very coachable and natural leader. Translation, they were wrong. And not just wrong, embarrassingly, publicly, hilariously wrong. But the real story? The real drama? It's that fans are now falling for Shedeur like it's a Taylor Swift album drop. You got the casual fans who showed up to camp for the vibes and left with Shedeur jerseys. Then you got the football nerds in the bleachers, mumbling to themselves about pre-snap reads and audibles like they just saw the Messiah of mechanics.
What I've been telling y'all since he got in conjoined with this Brown, care about what you Shedeur Sanders haters have to say. Louis Riddick is absolutely correct, and I'm adamant when I say it is a sabotage plan. Tyler Huntley was signed for one particular reason. They could have get any other melanated quarterback. They took Tyler because he was part of the Browns organization already.
Because here's the twist, Shedeur isn't just good. He's fun to root for. He's got that swagger sweet spot where confidence doesn't tip into cringe. When he steps into the pocket, there's this vibe like he knows what's going to happen 3 seconds before the defense does. It's not arrogance. It's awareness. It's like the Matrix, but with footballs instead of bullets. He's reading defenses like they're written in Comic Sans. And while other rookies are still figuring out how to call a huddle without swallowing their own tongue, Shedeur is out here running drills like a man possessed. Not desperate. Not overwhelmed. Just deeply, terrifyingly prepared. And that's where Eisen's rant hits home. Because he didn't just defend Shedeur, he elevated him. He pointed out what everyone else was pretending not to see. This kid's confidence isn't performative. It's foundational. It's the quiet certainty of someone who's been underestimated before and decided never again. Even teammates are starting to move differently around him. You can tell when a locker room buys in. Suddenly, the receivers are snappier. The linemen are finishing blocks like their future contracts depend on it. And the coaching staff? Let's just say the offensive coordinator now talks about Shedeur like he's explaining how he met his soulmate.
People is out here trying to make it seem like, oh, people are confused. Why are you saying that the Browns don't want Shedeur? How can people say that? People are saying that. Stop it. Again, stop it. Y'all is running around here acting like you don't know what you're talking about. We're going to translate it for you in very clear pictures so we can let y'all know and operate and how we need to get down where we need to get to. Because you know good and well, they're not saying that. You know what they are saying is that y'all cats is playing around and that we should be getting opportunity.
This isn't hype. This is momentum. And the league? The league is watching. With eyebrows raised and tweets drafted but not sent, just in case they have to delete them later. Because even the NFL knows when a storyline's changing mid-script. And in true cinematic fashion, fans are now hooked. Every practice clip is going viral. Every sideline moment gets dissected like it's Zapruder film footage. Did he just wink after a touchdown pass? Is he chewing gum while calling audibles? Did he just pat the ref on the back like they're brunch buddies? Iconic. But let's pause for a second and appreciate what this really means. Because the Shedeur Sanders story isn't just about a talented kid making waves. It's about redefining what NFL readiness looks like. It's about dismantling the outdated blueprint that says a rookie must suffer, must flail, must sit quietly and learn humility while riding the bench. Shedeur is skipping the trauma. He's skipping the welcome to the league horror montage. He walked in like, thanks for the opportunity, now step aside, I've got touchdowns to throw. Then came the moment the haters swore would never arrive. Injuries, weird trades, divine intervention, whatever stars had to align, they finally did.
Why are they hating on my guy so much? He's got to get reps in somehow. They don't want to give him practice reps. Let him practice before and after. And he's in the NFL now. Of course he's going to do all he can to warm his arm up, to get some reps. Like, what are we talking? It's going to be so funny when Shedeur ends up being the first quarterback to get these guys to the playoffs or win a playoff game since, like, Baker Mayfield. Like, I have a feeling that when he gets the time to shine, everybody's going to be like, dang, we really should have just drafted him in the first or second round. Like, we wasted a pick on Dylan Gabriel. What are we doing? His arm is sore, so he's that's bad? What are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about?
And just like that, the clipboard was gone, the headset was off, and Shedeur Sanders was no longer warming benches, he was warming up defenses. Now, most rookies would have tripped over their own cleats with that kind of pressure. Not Shedeur. This man stepped into the pocket like he had dinner reservations on the other side of the end zone. No panic. No jitters. Just unbothered excellence, like he was late for greatness and had no time for nonsense. And let's talk audibles. This dude's calling plays at the line like he's been running the offense for 5 years. The offensive coordinator's probably sipping Gatorade thinking, well, my job's done. The receivers? They're not just running routes, they're running victory laps mid-play. The O-line? Blocking like they're protecting the royal bloodline. You don't get that kind of buy-in if your teammates think you're just filling in. They don't protect Shedeur, they follow him. Like he's Moses in a helmet, parting the defensive line and leading them to the promised land of first downs. Rich Eisen saw it, too. And Eisen didn't just applaud, he practically set the studio on fire. He doubled down harder than a Vegas blackjack addict. This wasn't preseason hype. This wasn't training camp illusions. This was real. Shedeur wasn't just making throws, he was making statements. And the NFL heard every word.
Some people had a lot of bad things to say about Shedeur Sanders, and once again, I want to know, why are people saying then? They're changing their opinions now. And what we're doing is we're seeing Shedeur, rookie, OTAs, many, doing what Shedeur does. Balling. I mean, he's cutting up, man. I mean, y'all see him. He's doing this thing, right? So yeah, they only have on jersey, helmets, and shorts. But guess what? All 4 quarterbacks have on jersey, helmets, and shorts. And he's outperforming.
Because here's the thing, confidence is Shedeur's secret weapon. Some quarterbacks have an arm. Others have vision. Shedeur has swagger. Not the TikTok kind. I've studied this play 10 times, let me run it backwards if I have to kind. He's the guy who shows up to the stadium looking like he just walked out of a GQ cover shoot, then drops dimes like he moonlights as a vending machine. You can see it in his body language. Cool, composed, not a single twitch of panic, even when linebackers are charging at him like unpaid interns with something to prove. He steps up, reads the field, and fires with the calmness of someone adjusting a thermostat. Sideline presence? Ice cold. Post-practice interviews? All class, no fluff. Not once has he blamed a dropped pass or missed assignment. He just shrugs, smiles, and looks like he's already mentally diagramming next week's highlight reel. Now compare that to the usual rookie meltdown arc, wide-eyed stares, holding the ball too long, post-game interviews that sound like hostage videos. Shedeur isn't built like that. Pressure doesn't break him, it polishes him. The spotlight doesn't blind him, it illuminates the crown. And guess what? The fans noticed. Oh, they definitely noticed. Camp footage started leaking and the internet went full wildfire. One toe tap throw and suddenly every 10-year-old within a 100-mile radius is begging their parents for if Shedeur QB1 jersey. You scroll through social media and it's just a highlight reel with captions like he's him and certified dog. Every time he throws a touchdown, a sports podcast gets its wings.
Want me. That's what he was saying. And I'm saying, really? That's what we doing now? That's what you're doing? You're trying to disassociate yourself from a quarterback that's on your roster at this particular moment in time. You give him no first team reps. He's been working out with the third team, and then you just gonna throw him in there for the opening preseason.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Sure.
Isn't that the job every week of a backup quarterback? Backup quarterbacks never get first team reps. But if a quarterback goes down, you are required to go into the game and operate at a high level in the game. So I think that to me, that's number one. That's number one.
I need to throw a question at you, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
At practice, the crowd energy shifts when he touches the field. The buzz is back. Fans are yelling his name before he even hits the huddle. And it's not just the bandwagoners, real fans are locked in. Why? Because they see something rare. A kid born into the spotlight, but instead of hiding from it, he stares right back and wins. This is what makes the whole saga cinematic. Born into fame. Raised in pressure. Schooled by primetime himself. And now, carving his own name into the league, letter by letter, throw by throw. It's the kind of story Hollywood would reject for being too on the nose. But it's real. And the silence from the doubters? Absolutely deafening. Rich Eisen could barely contain himself. And honestly, who could blame him? He's seen talent. He's watched greatness develop. But when he sees Shedeur, it's not just potential, it's proof. Proof that the doubters had it all wrong. Proof that greatness doesn't wait for permission slips. Eisen lays it out like a closing argument, minus the courtroom and with a lot more football metaphors. This isn't just a he played well moment. This is a we're watching something special moment. And it's only the beginning. Shedeur didn't kick the door down just to wave hello. He's furnishing the place. Remodeling it. Adding a throne in the QB room while he's at it. The NFL better take a deep breath, because the Shedeur Sanders era is underway, and it's not showing signs of mercy.